little clucking and purring brought this gobbler into about 32 yards. I went ahead and took the shot. He was roosted in the area where I hoped he would be. All the birds that are roosted right there come out to the field, and it wasn't any different. He went ahead and came out. I also had two hens that were here yesterday came into the decoy that was behind me, and they started cutting, so that was a great benefit to me. I didn't have to call that much. He came in off of the hillside, so I know that he could pretty well see my decoy behind me also. I had built a small blind, so I wasn't really afraid that he was going to see me. I just didn't want him to get too close because of the turkey choke patterns get so tight, it makes it easier to miss. Nice adult gobbler. This is the last day that I could hunt in this season. Tomorrow's supposed to rain, and I also have to work, so success in Southern Illinois. This was a pretty awesome hunt. It was almost a classic hunt. Birds flew down and came to me as I was calling, so it was a classic hunt, but it wasn't. It had a little bit of a twist to it. I had to move on them 3 times. I just didn't want to call very much because it seemed like the more that I called, the more they wanted to go away. So I was trying to call the hens to me, and that seemed to work. Although the gobblers actually came up before the hens. I could hear one, but I just couldn't see them. The gobblers made their way up there before the hen did. So he came into about 50 yards, 51 yards, and when I shot him, he dropped and flopped and then took off running and then flew a little bit off the side of this big hill, and he only went maybe 50 yards, and I peeked over the side. I could see his head, so I shot him again, and he rolled another 40 yards down the hill. And these are giant hills in Tennessee, so at least where I am, I'm hunting along the Buffalo River, and it was like I said, a classic hunt. Beautiful, beautiful morning. It's I think probably 55, 56 degrees, and supposed to be up to 70 today.
It's Jim and I's second morning here in Kansas, and we've had a hard time out here finding birds, period, without running into people. But we came in this spot yesterday evening and located some jakes, and we think there was a couple longbeards around here. So we came in here and got set up and had a bunch of jakes behind us and this bird across the field, and he flew down super early, came right in, and I shot him with a crossbow. So we're fixing to pick up stuff here and go after. We got another bird gobbling up on the hill. We're going to slip up that way and see if we can get on him.
I saw two really nice gobblers here yesterday evening, and I have a turkey tag, so I decided to bring my crossbow. These turkeys are staying out there a long way. I decided also to set up some jake decoys, hoping that that would bring them in closer. It seems like they were attracted to each other, so I'm just hoping that this trick works. There were several deer out yesterday. I think I saw 14 in the field, and the turkeys were just wandering back and forth through them, so the turkey decoys might actually bring in the deer also. I'm really hopeful. We'll see how it works. It'd be a neat trick if it does. The turkeys are in the field. There's two gobblers, and they're about 100 yards away. I don't think they've seen my decoy yet, but they will. The stubble in the field isn't very tall. Looks like they're coming up this direction. There he is. He just pitched down right here. Tell me when.
Well, we got it done this morning. This is fourth season Illinois, Southern Illinois to be exact. And Jim and I came in here way before daylight. Jim got to my house today around 4:15, which for where we hunt at is pretty early. And I knew there was going to be a forecast of heavy fog, and it was. This guy was to the west here with about 5 other hens, and we were probably about 100 yards from him when we set up this morning. Took a gamble of setting up on this side of the creek. I'm in this bottom where there's just a big marshy area here that's been flooding for years now, and every other time we hunt this farm, we're either on one side or the other, and these turkeys will pitch down and they'll go, do what turkeys do. And today we gambled right. Jim started off with a little soft calling from the tree and got this guy fired up. He stayed fired up until he pitched down, and we almost got busted. We had a hen back here to the east behind us, and she pitched down and landed probably 15 yards from us. Kind of spooked us both, and she started putting a little bit because she saw Jim move the camera. And he started purring to her. She calmed down. She walked right in front of me. And I think that was maybe the ace in the hole. I'm not sure, but I think he saw her walking that way, and some of the other hens started pitching down to her. And that's pretty much it. He pitched down. We saw him, couldn't get the camera on him as he was gliding through the air, and he landed about 80 yards out there, and he walked straight into us. And I probably shot him a little too soon. He was 53 yards-ish, somewhere around there. But this turkey season's been kind of rough, and I was panicked, and I was afraid that if he came in too close he might start putting at the decoys. So I only had a hen decoy out, and for some reason this year they've been putting every time at the decoys, so I wasn't going to take any chances. So I'm very fortunate to have him. He's a big mature bird. His beard's kind of tore up, but he's got some hooks. I mean, he's got some hooks. Can't really tell you how old he is, but he's at least a 3 or 4 year old bird, but he's got some hooks and they are sharp. So I'm definitely proud to have him. It's my first turkey of the year. I got another tag in my pocket with COVID and all that stuff. We can't travel out of state. This year is going to be kind of dismal, but you got to make the best of what you got.
Somebody shot one, or shot at something across the river from me, several hundred yards away, and I thought, well, I'll just sit here and keep calling. Maybe something will fly across the river towards me. And I heard a hen, and I thought, well, they're going to come towards the big woods. So I came into the big woods, set up right here where there's a big bluff, where they could go up the bluff. It worked out really well. There was a hen that was in a tree. She flew down eventually, and other ones came from across the creek. I think that there were 3 adults and 4 jakes, and I don't know how many hens, maybe a couple I couldn't see over this little rise that was right there. And I contemplated belly crawling up to that rise and taking a shot, but I ranged a tree where they were at, and it was 100 yards, so that's well beyond what I can shoot, and I can't close that much distance. So things worked out. They eventually worked their way in. I called them up towards the decoys. I think they didn't like this jake sitting here with the hen decoy. So that was my strategy today, is to have a jake with a hen, and it seemed to work. The adults eventually came over here, but they were very, very reluctant. But once they committed, they actually came right up here to me. So
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. I had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows this morning. I got down here to my lease, and it's right on the Mississippi River. River's coming up. Majority of the farm is got backwater on it, so I'm having to boat in. Well, I got in this morning and got set up on a bird, and man, it worked perfect. He was across the water on the neighbor's field, and I set up on our side in the water, and I never dreamed he would come across, but I got set up, got my strutter decoy out, and set up a hen and started calling, and I could tell he was coming close, and when he broke the wood line and made the curve where he could see the decoys, he just kept coming right up to the water, and then he just flew across, blew me away, probably, I don't know, 125 yards across the water, something like that, and he flew off to my left and was headed right for the decoys, and I didn't have a cameraman with me, and I don't now, and I panicked, and instead of waiting for him to come all the way to the decoys, I tried to shoot him walking or kind of running at the decoys, and I missed, and that was it. Like 20 minutes after fly down. I was like, I can't believe that. All right, well, here he is. I got all my stuff put away, picked up the decoys, and walked out here and got him. Really nice bird. Got, I don't know, probably 10 or 11 inch beard, a little over inch spurs. I'd say probably at least a 2-year-old, maybe a 3-year-old bird, but just awesome ending to a morning that started out so disappointing.
With my 9-year-old son, Kurt Povolish, here on his first year turkey hunting. Second turkey hunt he's ever been on. And anyway, yesterday we started off and we had kind of a rough morning, didn't really hear much, and we decided to change farms. Called a buddy up and got permission, and about 9 o'clock in the morning we were walking out to the farm to check out and see if we could hear any late morning gobbles. And a train went by, and it worked out perfect because he blew his horn, and 4 or 5 of them fired off, and I knew right where they were at. So we circled around and tried to call to them, but they just were intent on staying where they wanted to be. And so we decided to back off and give it another shot this morning. And we set up, and they were roosted about where we thought they would be at. And 4 or 5 of them fired off, and started off pretty hot, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit, and we were sitting there just kind of being patient, and I don't know, I'd say about an hour and a half into the hunt, we heard a gobble, and it was about 150 yards to the northeast of us here. And Jim did some spot on calling, and just kind of, once again, we were real patient. And next thing you know, we had 2 hens and this big guy here, I'd say probably 30 yards behind us. And before I know it, I look off to my right, and here he is walking about 20 yards away. It looked like a movie, him coming in about as pretty as it could get. And of course, I could feel my son shaking between my legs. And I tell you what, for a 9-year-old kid, you couldn't ask for much better. I mean, he took his time. He eased his hands up on the trigger. I heard him click the safety off, and this big guy walked right into the decoys, and he put a perfect shot on him. And I tell you what, as a dad, it don't get much better than that. I'm about as proud as I can get, and it actually shook me up a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to turn it over to the expert turkey hunter over here and let him tell you his story.
Well, when I first saw him, I started to shake a little bit, and I was like, I gotta get this turkey. And then when he walked to the decoy and he stands still, I just took the bead and shot him right in the head. And after that, I was really shaking after that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, I can understand why. So Dad was shaking too. So anyway, can't thank Jim enough for what he did for us here this morning. It's a lifetime memory and something I'll never forget. So how much did he weigh, Kurt?
24.4 pounds.
That's a big, for your first turkey. They don't get much bigger than this. I'd say these spurs got to be 1.25 inches, possibly 1.5 inches, something else. Beautiful turkey.